step through the door, our hearts open wide. In our new sacred space, together we will thrive. The power of love is what we all share. And now we have a new place, blessed with joy and care. We are the light, we stand with pride. This is the space where love will reside. Oh, we welcome everyone with open arms and open hearts. Here we bless this space and all its sacred new stars. Trees don't grow alone and neither do we. The roots of our love grow strong underneath. We are the light, we stand with pride. This is the space where love will reside. Hearts joined as one, the spirit flows through. Home is not walls, it's me and you. Me and you. All our peace comes from within. It's not a race, it's something you can win. We have the power to choose what we believe, to hold on to life, don't let it leave. We are the light, we stand with pride. This is the space where love will reside. Hearts joined as one and the spirit flows through. Home is not walls, it's me and you.
That was the amazing Grayson Nierenberg. Thank you, with an original song. Thank you, Grayson. Welcome to Center for Spiritual Living Morristown, a vibrant community where love, joy, and inclusivity are at the heart of everything we do. Here, we honor the unique journey of every soul, offering a place of healing, growth, and celebration. Together, we create an atmosphere of openness and love, where every person is seen, valued, and accepted just as they are. My name is Lori Carlson, and I'm a licensed practitioner here at Center for Spiritual Living Morristown. Thank you for joining us, whether you are here in person, watching the live stream, or checking us out at a later time. We are so happy that you are part of this journey of shared wisdom, light, and transformation. Like I said, we are joined here today by our wonderful musician, Grayson Nierenberg, and now I am very excited to invite the Reverend Janice Bolero up to join me in our opening treatment and the blessing and consecrating of this space.
First, I just have to look at it, everybody. It just makes me so happy to see you here. Thank you for being here today and for blessing the space by being here. Oh, so we take a deep breath and we come together in this holy and sacred moment and we recognize spirit in form as each one present here today. We recognize spirit in action as the movement into this beautiful, blessed new space. This space that has been blessed from the very beginning, from the moment it became an idea in the mind of God and an idea in the mind of CSL Morristown. From that moment on, it has been visioned, it has been created, it has been worked on, it has been attended to. And with each action, with each sweep of the floor, with each chair that was placed here, with everything hung on the walls, with all things moved down, everyone brought a blessing from their heart. So where you sit and where you stand is consecrated ground because Spirit created it and Spirit moved each person into place to bless it even further. And so all of you being here today are breathing life into this new manifestation of space that we now inhabit with our hearts and our minds and our love and our abundance. And I know that it continues to be a blessing in all of our lives. And as I see this space just growing and expanding with God's love and the truth of the Science of Mind teaching, I am overjoyed, so grateful, and so happy to pass this to my beloved friend and our prayer practitioner, our beautiful speaker today, Lori Carlson.
And so in this flow of oneness, of truth, of heartfelt love, in this beautiful sacred space where today we are creating the paradise that our community walks into and embraces. We are creating that space that allows for us to each be the best expressions of spirit that we can be. And we do it together in community with every hand and every thought and every word and every action and every sweeping of the floor and all the things that we get to do together to come into this community and build this paradise that is our perspective going forward. And we fill our hearts with this energy and with this praise and with this celebration that uplifts, supports, and empowers each of us into our greatest yet to be. And so I know that this is the greatest yet to be of our community and of each one here. And I am so grateful to be a part of it and to bless this space, to call it holy, to call it sacred, and to know that it is a little bit of paradise for each one who enters. And we all get to bring our energy and our heart and our joy and our gratitude to this place and bless it with grace. And so from that place, I simply release this word into that law that does unto us as we believe. And so as I believe in the power of this word, in the power of this community, and in the power of love in action that we are, I simply let it go. And I invite you to all join me in saying,
and so it is. Amen. Hallelujah.
Amen. Yes, and so in this beautiful, blessed, and sacred space, I am very grateful to welcome you all here. So the CSL theme for 2025 is Rising Higher, Growing Deeper. And the theme for June is In Living Color. And my topic today is Paradise as Perspective and Practice. Because we are building a paradise right here in this community. But first, we are going to start, as we always do, with our Namaste practice. So Namaste is the Sanskrit word for the divinity within me recognizes and honors the divinity within you. So I'm going to invite you all to put your hands together over your heart, to turn to someone and to really engage with them, look for the divinity within them, recognize it, honor, and be seen yourself. Everybody feel seen? Okay. So, paradise. Paradise as perspective and practice. So what do you think of when you think of paradise?
Bermuda.
Yes, I hope you're talking about that. So for a lot of us, it's pristine beaches, Italy. For, it can be palm trees and blue skies. It can also be lush tropical jungle, gardens, fruit, flowers. It can also be, for my boyfriend, it was white mountains and pristine snow and, elevation. It can be all different things to all different people, right? Because real paradise is a perspective. Real paradise is not a place, but it is a decision and a choice of how you get to see the world. So what if it's, a lot of us grew up with the idea that paradise was someplace that you got to after you died, right? You had to earn it, and you had to die to get there. But in this teaching, we know that heaven and hell are states of mind. They are states of consciousness. And as such, they are always available to us in the here and now. It is a perspective we choose and a perspective we get to build within. It is a co-creative act that we participate in. So Ernest Holmes says, heaven is not a place, but an inward state. If we expect to be happy in the future, we must be happy today. So it's always about the inner work. It's always about arriving in the here and now. And like you just heard, a lot of you might know, I just came back from a trip to Bermuda. And Bermuda is certainly idyllic, and it certainly looks like paradise. The aqua waters, the pink sands, all of the beautiful sounds of the birds and the hibiscus flowers. Yes, it was certainly a kind of paradise. But do you know what I realized? I realized that the paradise that it felt like to me was not because of what it looked like. It was not because of the waters. It was because of who I was there with. I was there with people that I loved, that fill my heart, and it is that connection, that love, that makes anywhere a paradise. I could have been sitting on a park bench in Bayonne, and it would have felt like paradise to me, because I was with people that I had a real heart-to-heart connection with. And that is the truth of paradise. That is the choosing the perspective of paradise. Choosing to see paradise as not what's happening around us, but what's happening within us. And we all know this is true, right? Because how many examples do we have of people who have picture-perfect lives, who seem to live in paradise on a daily basis, right? We all see their Instagram posts, but a lot of them are miserable and unhappy because it's not about the outside trappings that create that sense of paradise. It's about what we do within. What is it we say here? As within, so without. Right? So then it's not what's happening around us. And when you really realize that, it shifts everything. It shifts everything. Because paradise is not a place you go to get on a plane and pack your bag. Paradise is not something you have to wait for to arrive or die to get to. It is an awareness. It is an awakening to the fact that you are one with Spirit. And that Spirit is ever present. So there is no place and no time when you are not with Spirit. And in that knowing and in that deep understanding is where we find that paradise within. And I know this isn't easy. I know right now that a lot of things that are happening in the world don't look very much like paradise and don't make us feel like we can live in paradise. But this teaching calls us to our higher vision. It calls us to remember our oneness when the world is divisive. It calls us to remember peace when there is chaos all around us. It calls us to see the humanity in others when all we see is the ugliness. It calls us to see the divinity in others because we know that each one is a spark of the divine, even those we disagree with, even those we have problems with. And as Reverend Nicolette said so beautifully last week, even in times of disruption, Spirit is always present. And it is our job as people on a spiritual path to remember that and to find that way through, to know that paradise is a place and a state of mind that is within us and that we carry with us everywhere we go. We have the choice to find it. When I was in Bermuda, I was very blessed. I got to go to what's called a powwow, which was a celebration of the heritage and ancestry of the African and Native American peoples on Bermuda. But let's just remember, those peoples were brought there enslaved. They did not joyously go there. So do you think when they arrived in Bermuda, they said, oh look, we're in paradise? You know, so it is, no matter where you are, it is always a perspective. What looks like paradise to one is not always paradise to another. And it is so important to remember that, because paradise doesn't mean perfection. It means finding the peace even in the midst of the storm. And this choice, this perspective, it requires courage. It requires vulnerability. It requires allowing your heart to open. Because in this divided world, it's so easy to say, us against them, I'm right, you're wrong, I'm not going to see this point. It's so easy to try to dehumanize the other side. But that's where it's our choice and our perspective that makes a difference. We have to let go of the need to be right all the time. And I'm not saying that you don't stand up for what you believe in. I went to the protests. I went to a peace concert. I'm saying that you do it from a place of love, from a place of knowing the truth, of remembering that we are all inherently one. And that is the work, as difficult as it may be at times, to remember. And we need to hold that kind of perspective all the more in the times when it's difficult. Ernest Holmes said, the key to heaven lies in the giving up of our lesser sense of life so that we may enter into the larger. So what is the lesser sense of life? Well, that's your ego mind. That's the world. That's where you live in criticism of others. That's where you live in separation. That's where you live in conditions and circumstances. That's the lesser sense of life. And what is the greater, the larger? It is the oneness. It is the perspective of paradise. It is the fact that we are always able to make that choice on a daily basis, to hold that kind of perspective, to build bridges instead of walls, to open our hearts to others, to be willing to listen from a place of deep understanding, instead of from a place of like, I just can't wait to answer you back what I'm thinking, right? You know, that sense of deep listening with an open mind. And here's the thing, here's the good news. Here we are in community. We don't have to do this alone. We don't do this alone. We do this better in community. We find that way, we find that paradise as a community. Because when your faith falters, someone else can lift it up. When you are struggling, someone else can hold the high watch for you. When you are seeing only shadows, someone else can see the light in you when you have forgotten. And that's the power of community. Right here, right now, you may be holding the map that shows someone else their way forward. Or someone else may be holding your map. But this is where you get to reach out. The practice, I'm going to be talking about practices, you know, when do I ever do a talk where I don't talk about practices, is to reach out, to ask for help, to be of help, to allow for each other to be of service. So I'm going to tell you a little story. You probably heard it before, but this is the analogy, the metaphor of heaven and hell, right? I'm sure you've heard it. But where heaven and hell are a big banquet feast, right? A big table laden with food, all the food you could want, all the best things. And hell is where everyone is sitting there starving because they have such long spoons that they can't get them into their own mouth. And so around the whole table, everyone is starving. And heaven is the same feast, the same banquet table, but everyone is well fed and happy because they are using their long spoons to feed each other. So that's what heaven is. That's the perspective of paradise. serving each other, feeding each other, lifting each other up, right? Enjoying the feasts of the banquet of life by supporting one another. Knowing that you know, in this teaching we like to say there is no individual good, right? We are a collective. We are trying to build a world that works for everyone. Isn't that that's the whole purpose of Centers for Spiritual Living? A world that works for everyone. And we do that by using our long spoons to feed one another. This is an important perspective. Mr. Rogers, what did Mr. Rogers say? Look for the helpers. Well, I would say also be a helper. That is how you come and build that inner paradise. By looking for the helpers, looking for the good, and being a helper. Let me tell you, nothing gives me greater joy than being a helper. Then you all know how much I love to do Treatment Express, how much I love to treat for everyone. Being of service is the greatest way you can find to enter into that inner paradise. It is one of the greatest practices that there are. So of course, what's Lori's mantra? How do you do this? Daily practices. It's not what you do once in a while that makes a difference in your life. It's great that you come here on Sunday, but it's not what you do on Sunday that creates a difference. It's the daily practices that you do that change your life, that bring you into a perspective of paradise where you really can create that paradise within that you carry with you. So what are those practices? Well, you pause before you speak. You breathe into the situation. You allow space for someone else or someone else's opinion, right? You go out into nature. You appreciate art. You appreciate beauty. You participate in beautiful music. You raise your voices or you listen, deeply listening. We have all of our spiritual tools, of course, of affirmative prayer, spiritual mind treatment, of meditation, of visualization. But there's also just being joyful, laughter. I always talk about my laughter practice. There are all these ways that we can do, and the more you do them, the more you build this muscle so that it is there when you need it. So that when the times are chaotic, when there is division, when there is trouble, and Lord knows I saw the news before I came and there's more happening in the world. But in those times, if you have the practices, if you have the foundations, if you do your daily journaling, if you do your daily gratitude list, if you are in the habit, because that's what these practices do, they become habits, and then that becomes a way of life, and then that becomes your consciousness. So if you have the habit of looking for the good and of saying, how can I serve? How can I best show up in this situation and be an expression of spirit? How can I best bring paradise, bring a sense of paradise into whatever's happening? Because we all have that ability. We all have that choice. And you can use your daily practices to create an inner paradise that you carry with you. So you can use your meditation practice, your visualization. I said paradise is not a place, but we all have an image of paradise, right? Something that brings you peace, that brings you calm. So if you spend time in meditation and visualization, bringing that into a real conscious reality within you, then you can go back there whenever you need to. You can go back and find rest and find comfort and find support in that place that you've built within yourself that is a vision of paradise, but is really a place of connection with Source. Because whatever it looks like, the beautiful beach or the mountain or the jungle, that is all an expression of spirit. And it is in that connection that true paradise lies. So, Charles Fillmore said, you may not be able to control every situation and its outcome, but you can control your attitude and how you deal with it. And That's what it comes down to, right? That's the basic power we have. And it is a huge power because you get to choose, right? You get to choose at every moment how you embrace this moment, how you respond to what someone says, whether you're showing up as love or showing up in fear, whether you're going to sit in resentment or come in with enthusiasm and joy. No matter what the circumstances, you always have choice. And sometimes it seems like, with what's going on, all I can think of is, but you still have that moment to pause, to breathe, to look for the good, to envision how you can bring good to the situation and how you can be one of the helpers. And in that, you create a sense of paradise. I know for me that the best thing, who I strive to be, is the one who brings a little paradise into the room. I want to be that person that when I come into the room, everybody has a little bit of sense of paradise. Maybe we're not on a beach, maybe we're out in the rain, but I want to be that one that brings just that little bit of, I remember the beautiful breeze on the beach when I'm with you. I remember what it feels like to be on the mountaintop when I'm with you. And we can all do that. We can do that by our conscious choice and awareness of who and how we show up in the world. And that is always about your perspective. So I got another little story for you. I got tons of stories. So this story you may have heard too. It's the story of the 3 bricklayers. I'm going to actually read it. So a traveler came upon 3 bricklayers, right? They're all working hard in the sun, laying bricks. He asked the first, "What are you doing?" The man wearily replied, "I'm laying bricks." He asked the second, who seemed to have a little more energy, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm building a wall." He asked the third, who was happily and merrily working away, "What are you doing?" And he said, "I'm building a cathedral." So, same task, same day, same bricks, different perspective. And the third one was living in paradise. Because his perspective allowed him to see purpose, allowed him to see meaning, allowed him to show up in a way that brought spirit into his experience. And so that is the invitation to each of us. We are invited to build a cathedral of consciousness. We are invited to take everything we do and see the cathedral in that. Whether you're sweeping the floor or moving the chair, you get to do it from a place of awareness and a place of purpose. And like I said, it always comes back down to your choice. It is always a choice. And so we here in this community are so blessed, right? Because we have each other. Like we say in our opening, like in our welcome, it says, we honor the unique journey of every soul, offering a place of healing, growth, and celebration, where every person is seen, valued, and accepted just as they are. I don't know, that kind of sounds like a definition of paradise to me. What about you? So that is how we get to be in paradise, how we get to build that paradise together, and how this beautiful new space becomes our way to bring a little bit of paradise to the world. And we get to choose that. Then it doesn't matter where you are, Bermuda, Brookside, or Bayonne, you are still in a sacred place. And you get to make that choice from a place of gratitude. So for me, gratitude and appreciation is the quickest way into paradise. Gratitude for whatever's going on, there's always something to be grateful for. As small as it may be, or as difficult as you may have to look to find it, I promise you, if you're alive and you're breathing, there's something to be grateful for. And it's your choice to look for it. I just want to say that creating paradise is not passive. A lot of us think, you get on a plane, you fly to the beach, and you lay there, and you're in paradise. No, like I said, it takes inner work. It takes making choices. It takes doing daily practices. It takes doing the things it takes to create that paradise. We all know well, I have personal experience of, you can go lay on the beach, but if you're still haven't done your inner work, you bring yourself with you wherever you go. And you can be laying on the most beautiful beach, thinking about all the problems in your life, right? I know I have. So in AA, we call that doing a geographic. It doesn't work. You just moved because you think you're getting away from your problems. No. Guess what? Wherever you go, there you are, right? So it's always the inner work. And here's the miracle. If you do the inner work and you create that inner perspective of paradise, you take that with you wherever you go. So, instead of taking your problems with you, take that sense of paradise. Take that inner place, that vision of calm and oneness. Bring that with you wherever you go. And then any park bench, any place, anywhere you go, you'll be sitting in paradise. And I am really grateful to have that here with all of you. I am grateful for this community because a lot of you know my story, and I've been through a lot this past year. And this community has supported me and has been a refuge and a place of comfort and a place of support. And I am inviting all of you to find that same comfort and that same support, to reach out to one another, to reach out to a practitioner, to reach out and be supported, because that is who we are. That is what we are here for. To empower each other, to support each other, to build a vision of paradise where we can all rest easily, even in a time of turbulence, even in this divisive world. So, I'm going to ask you again, where do you think paradise is? Do you think it's Bermuda? Do you still think it's Bermuda? Do you still think it's after you die where you go to heaven? Do you still think it's on the other end of the world? Or could it be right here, right now, in this moment, in this breath, in your heart, in this community, as we breathe together and be together and know that we are truly one? Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "What lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us. And what lies within us is the door to paradise. What lies within us is the oneness and love that we get to share. You just have to choose to open it." So now I'm going to have you, I'm going to close with an affirmation. So I would like you to repeat after me. Today I choose to see with the eyes of spirit.
Today I choose to see with the eyes of spirit.
Even in a divided world, I hold the truth of oneness.
Even in a divided world, I hold the truth of oneness.
I choose to practice seeing from the perspective of my inner paradise.
I choose to practice seeing from the perspective of my inner paradise.
I allow myself to be vulnerable and be supported by others.
I allow myself to be vulnerable and be supported by others.
I walk in paradise and I help co-create it with love.
I walk in paradise and I help co-create it with love.
Right here, right now, in this beautiful space together.
Right here, right now,
in this beautiful space together.
Thank you. May you walk in paradise this week, and may you be a little shining spot of paradise for everyone in your world. And now, Reverend Janice. And now we are going to have music with Grayson, and then Reverend Janice is going to come back to lead us in a spiritual practice about our heart and leaving a piece of our heart with our center.
So the first song I played was an original that I just wrote the other day called New Beginnings. And on that same thought, I'm going to play Daniel Neymon's Everything Is New. Bring it on, everything new,
my very, very, very favorite song. Beautifully. Okay, where am I just going to start? I'm so full in here today. I love it. I'm going to start with announcements. So we all know that the outdoor-indoor concert is happening today, and it's a good thing because we have one day of summer and then whatever. So Ed is already here, and we are so grateful for Ed and Mark to back him up. And so after we are done, after we are finished with our celebration, everybody is invited into our beautiful social hour room. The Leadership Council is providing lunch for everybody today, and we're clearing out so that we can turn into a concert space, right, after that. So we can come back in here at 1 o'clock, and from 1 to 3:30, Ed is going to get us up, moving and dancing and celebrating summer, because it will be back. We have a new workshop by our very own Lori Carlson and Chara Rodriga that is happening on Sunday, July 27th. It is called Writing from the Soul, a sacred journey to clear your mind, open your heart, and write from your soul. So Lori is she's so good at this. This is what her joy is, writing. We all know she's an amazing poet. And she's going to have everybody have an experience of your heart's truth, so you'll be guided to your own journaling and writing from their soul. So we hope you will join us for that. You do need to register on Breeze. So we have like a new setup for things. We're used to pointing over here and saying flyers are over here. Flyers are now in the back. We still have to hang our bulletin board, which is missing, by the way. Fernando has to find it.
It's behind your couch.
All right. Anyway, we'll be hanging the bulletin board, and the announcements will be up there. We'll have its place for community and social events. That's all the information counter, and this is the thank you for your giving and abundance counter on the other side. So that's where we can make love offerings. That's where our PayPal and our Venmo QR codes are, and Signs of Mind magazines and so forth will be over there. So just a little logistics moving forward. And if anybody wants to take some flyers for Lori's workshop and put them up places.
And Chara's.
Lori and Chara's workshop and put them up places. There are some back there for you to do that. Next week, our speaker is going to be Reverend Karen Krishner, who was the spiritual leader at CSL Princeton for 27 years. She retired in 2023, and she's going to be here to present our Sunday message next week, and Andrew Dunn will be back doing the music. So it is time to share our abundance. So I'm going to start passing the basket. Thank you, Barb. So this is the time that we give. It's our weekly time where we give of our abundance. Many of you give automatically, and as you know, there are many ways to give. Again, I said if you use PayPal, Venmo, you can give on our website. You can set up automatic tithing. And we are so appreciative for all that everybody gives. It keeps us, being able to be the center that we are and send our message out into the world. So moving downstairs has been a wonderful experience. We love it. We are grateful for the opportunity. There were also costs involved that were over and above what we had budgeted for, because it kind of came to us. There were some expected and some unexpected. So we're putting it out there that we're taking a separate love offering to go to offset some of the costs for moving down here. And some people they'll come to me and say, we'd love to give for something special. Does the center need anything? Well, it needed this. So in the back, there is a red kind of, heart color. Well, not heart chocolate color. Thank you, Barb. Barb is holding it up. She's our Vanna. Yeah, back there. And that'll be there this week and next week. So if you want to make a special love offering, we would appreciate it. And we also, thanks to Ed's generosity, he's doing the concert for us today as a donation of his talents. So we are doing that on a love offering basis. So if you want to give a love offering for the concert, it is going to go toward the cost of our new space. Okay? So now just join me in our abundance blessing. Please repeat after me. And so many of you give of your time and your talent and you all give of your love, so we can even place our hands over our hearts to know that it all comes from within. And repeat after me. Divine love consecrates my gift.
Divine love consecrates my gift.
It goes forth to heal, prosper, and bless.
It goes forth to heal, prosper, and bless.
It returns to me multiplied abundantly.
It returns to me multiplied abundantly.
As I share my good,
As I share my good,
I accept my greater good.
I accept my greater good.
And so it is.
And so it is.
So we're going to do a process in a few moments to bless the new space, each of you. So Barbara's going to pass these around. There are different colored hearts in here, so I invite you to take one and hold it until we get to the process, and then we're going to bless it ourselves and then tell you what we're going to do with that. But first, I really want to take some time to talk about the move down here and to share my gratitude and just give you a sense of what did go into moving down here. And I'm really going to focus on the Leadership Council because of how much time and effort the Leadership Council put into this move. I'm glad Reverend Nicolette is here because she represents all the assistants and also all of the conversations we had with Brookside. And I love that Reverend Nicolette spoke last week about disruption. So yes, there was disruption. But here's the thing, and I love that Lori is such a beautiful book at disruption and perspective. So the perspective that I got to expand on and grow into during this move was that there were some detours. There were things that did not go according to plan. And I got to look at myself, which I really try to do constantly, look at what my reaction and then what my action was beyond that. And still I find that sometimes my first reaction is my Italian Jersey girl reaction. And some of you were on the other end of that, and I still work on that. But I have learned through the practices to, and my real intention is to take a breath before my Italian Jersey girl reaction. But as I said, I'm a work in progress. But when I do take a breath, what happens is, and what has happened throughout this whole experience, is the way that I thought things needed to go. When I finally took a breath, and the entire Leadership Council was on board with me with this, we saw that it was going in a different direction, and it was a way better direction. That everything, even a problem that is ongoing with our internet, I know is going to land us in a better place. And so that's been such a practice for me, and I'm so grateful for that. And it really is something that I'm grateful, again, for the support of everybody and for the Leadership Council. So now I really need to do this, so bear with me. I need to give a shout out to some individual people on the Leadership Council and what they did. So I have to say, I think Christy might have actually, should she go to her social hours? We're ready? Christy, get her back. Get her back. All right, I'll go back to Christy. So Kathy worked so hard on this outdoor space. I don't know if many of you saw what it was before. Yes. But she just made it her personal project from her heart. Kathy is a visionary. She has beautiful visions of things. And she came, not only did she have a vision, but she does the get down in the dirt hard work. And she cleans windows, but not for anybody else. But I would come and she'd be here and say, I can't hug you because I'm dirty, and she really does the work. But she made this a sacred sanctuary out here. She even refinished the Adirondack chair so that we have a sacred place to sit. I'm just so grateful. And Kathy was also my listening ear when my Italian Jersey girl got a little out of hand. Kathy was there for me, and I'm so grateful for you for that and for everything and Kathy was here for both moves. We moved twice from beginning to end and helped me put my office away, which I thought was going to take me 2 weeks. So I'm really, really grateful, Kathy. I put Christy first because Christy hit the ground running. The minute we found out we were getting that room, she started cleaning it. Like way before we were even going to be down there. And she worked so hard. She cleaned the furniture and the tables and the floor. Lynn came to help her one night because she was like, I know Christy's going to do the floor by herself, so I'm going to help her. And I know she had help, other people helped her move things and get organized, but Rich and I came last night to hang the banners, and Christy was here still cleaning because she knew company was coming today. She wanted it perfect. We left at 8 o'clock and she was still vacuuming. So I thank you, Christy. Everything looks absolutely beautiful. She was here on Women's Day too, on Thursday, from early morning till late at night. Fernando. Not only is he the co-chair of the Leadership Council and helped guide us and direct us, but I want to thank the whole Roman family for their donation and contribution toward our carpeting. But Fernando was one of the bricklayers, one of the carpet layers, and he did it with joy, and he took time off from work, and he also worked from here while he laid the carpet. Mark came and helped him, Vern came and helped him the first day. His son Alex, I heard, was helping him last week. But he made sure it was done perfectly, beautifully. There's a long list for Vern. Because Vern is this guy. If I need anything, I call Vern. Vern, I need you. I'll be there in 20 minutes, because he lives 20 minutes away. So I must have called him about 6 times during the move. Vern, 20 minutes. And he's here in 20 minutes to do whatever we needed him to do. He helped Fernando with the carpet, and he was our lighting expert. We felt it was too bright, fluorescent, so he researched bulbs. I must have spent hours and hours researching bulbs. We changed all the lighting in here so that it could be softer. It was Kathy. Kathy was the visionary who first saw it, but Vern really did all that. He was here on moving day. He's been our IT expert, and I do have to say that Vern and I are on first name basis with way too many Verizon texts. We're still dealing with this internet issue, but I couldn't have done it without you, Vern. And I really appreciate that so many of you, I had a long list of people who said that they wanted to help, but things just moved along and really fell into place, so we really didn't need as many people, but we did have some people who showed up in the early days, and at the end, Carol Hollister, I don't see her here, Helena, I don't see her here, Jean Lee, and Eileen was here on the last moving day, making sure all the welcoming things were here to welcome everybody. So I want to just So I want to move into the spiritual practice. Everybody has a heart? Okay. So we talked today about heart. And one of the things that I engage in order to shift my perspective is, to me, one of the greatest divine gifts that we have been imbued with, and that is our imaging power. Okay? We say we are made in the image and likeness of God. We have the imaging power that allows us to create our experience. And when we're children, we use it a lot. Use your imagination, right? We play and we create things. And that is what we use to create paradise in our mind and paradise in our heart, the imaging power. So I'm going to invite you all to close your eyes. Grayson's going to play sweetly behind me. So I invite you to close your eyes. And you're holding this heart in your hand. And as we move through this process and this experience, engaging our imaging power, we are going to be imbuing these hearts with the images of paradise that we will create for our center. Placing pieces of paradise into our own hearts and into the hearts that we hold in our hands, that we will leave here as pieces of paradise. So I invite you to imagine, what is your idea for this center in this new space? How do you imagine this space? How do you imagine feeling in this space? And how do you imagine seeing this space? Now, you may see it filled up with people in every seat. And so the divine gift that you imbue, the divine energy, is an energy of abundance that you imbue into the heart. You may use your imaging power to see powerful truth being shared here. Powerful messages of truth that go forth and inspire others to be this truth and live this truth in their lives. And so you imbue this power of truth. You imagine the truth and create that in this center, in your hearts and in life. Maybe in your mind, you vision social hour in our kitchen. All the connections that are made and the friendships that are made. And so you imbue that idea of friendship and connection and love and socializing into your heart that you are holding and into the energy of this center in our new space. Maybe you imagine feeling cared for here, feeling held, feeling nurtured, feeling supported. Getting treatments with Lori or myself. Sitting in the office and being part of a spiritual mind treatment or even a class or a meeting, because that is what you imagine receiving here. And so that is what you, the energy you imbue into the heart you hold for our center. Maybe you vision the business of the center being fortified, the abundance of the center being overflowing. And so the office you may see being blessed with wonderful administration and direction and abundance and organization. And so that is what you imbue. Maybe you see the center, this sanctuary part of our center, being alive with music and concerts and workshops and events. And so there's a sense of celebration and excitement and enthusiasm that you imbue into the heart that you hold, which is an extension of your own heart, which is the perspective of paradise that you bring to our new space and our center. But just take the next couple of moments to sit in silence. And maybe even that is what you imbue, silence. Deep prayerfulness, higher consciousness, connection to spirit. A place where you feel the oneness and the divinity. A place where your essential nature is expanded. A place where you are accepted, loved, and held. So just let whatever is yours to feel, to imagine, to give, to share, just move through you, into your hands, into the heart that you hold. Use your breath. Let your heart be moved by your breath, by your vision, by spirit, imagining itself as this center in this space. What is the piece of paradise that you leave behind today to bless our center moving forward every day? Divine gift, the beautiful reflection of spirit that you are. And so take a few deep breaths. Whenever you're ready, you can slowly open your eyes. And this is what I invite you to do when we leave our celebration today. I invite you to take your heart and put it somewhere in the center. And leave it there. It could be visual, it could be tucked away, it could be hidden away. We're just going to leave these hearts imbued with your piece of paradise all around the center. And you'll stay there. And you might see yours sometime, or somebody else's, or people that aren't even here today, or people that are to come will find the heart someday. And the energy will still be there, radiating, because wherever we go, we're just energy and form. And the energy can never be destroyed. Right? It just changes forms, or it just goes wherever it is needed. So just find a place and leave your heart at some point today. And thank you so much for being the heart of our center, because each one of you truly are.
Thank you, Reverend Jackie. I know where I'm putting my heart. So now I'm going to close us out with an affirmative prayer, which is how we always close, and then Grayson is going to grace us. I love saying that. Grayson is going to grace us with another beautiful song, and it's an original. So, but right now, I invite you to close your eyes again and to hear these words as if they were your own, because in a way they are, as we are all of one mind, and we are all connected with spirit. And so right here, right now, I acknowledge the power and presence that exists in my heart. I acknowledge my perspective of paradise that comes from my knowing of my deep oneness with spirit. I embrace the opportunity to be in community and in this beautiful, blessed, sacred space together, and to be of service, and to find ways to allow others to serve me. Because when we are in community and when we are in this perspective of give and take, and abundant joy and grace, we open our hearts to give as well as to receive. And so I know that each heart that is placed here blesses this space. I know that it adds that sand of paradise to this beautiful energy of love, of celebration, and of community. I know that each one is empowered, uplifted, and supported by each other one. That we are blessed and grateful to be in joyous community, to be a part of this celebration of life, to be little hearts that are part of the one heart, the one mind, the one paradise that exists within. And so as we lay on the beach of paradise together, I invite you to know this truth, to remember the oneness, and to allow for your good to demonstrate in your life so that you can best share it with others. Love in action. That is who we are here at CSLM. And we are hearts that are open and loving and receptive to everyone around us and to all the good and blessings that this vision and this perspective of paradise allows us to see. And so I am deeply grateful to be here with all of you, to know this truth, to speak this word, and to share my heart. And so I know that each one here is also grateful and sharing their heart. And so I simply release this word into that law that is ever operating and that does unto us as we believe. And as I believe in the power of love, in the power of this community, and in the power of this word, I simply let it go and let it be. And I invite you to all join me in saying, and so it is. Amen. Hallelujah.
Janice, did you want to say something about using the upstairs door? That people should use the upstairs.
I did want to say that. Thank you for reminding me.
Just before, I just want to, I thank you, Barbara, just reminded me. We are still going to use the entrance upstairs to come in, unless you don't want to do stairs, you'd rather not do stairs. Of course, you can park over here. If you're early enough, you can come in through the sanctuary, but that door is going to be locked at 5 to 11, and then you need to come in through the social hour room. Okay, but we are going to, for at least for now, be coming in through the door upstairs.
Oh, and I forgot to say that, of course, I will be available for Treatment Express. You know that.
And just because they're going to need to move everything out of the office to get started, and then you could be in the office. Okay, but we just want to accommodate the concert people. Thank you. Okay. We're done. We think.
Today is a wonderful day, and tomorrow it's gonna be a wonderful